All right, so the next one is on health. Whew, this one's a big one. Sally YouTube. So first of all, Happy New Year's guys. I hope that you guys have been having a really nice holiday period. We've had an awesome break, pretty hectic. From the 24th till the 29th, we had family staying with us. So we were showing them a good time around Wellington and that kind of thing. But we did manage to get away to the coast, to a really beautiful beach. I'll put some photos in here. Just 3 days, but honestly, there's something about like swimming and going into the sea and being near the sea. I think sun, sea, sand, just relaxing. It was so laid back, such a nice break, and now we're back to it for the beginning of this year. And I have to admit, I'm pretty happy that 2020 is here. Not because 2019 wasn't awesome, but because it was just so full on as a year. It was so intense. I mean, just over the course of 2019, we got the news that Neil's got the job in New Zealand. We had to resign from our companies. We would each been there sort of at least 3 years. We had to pack up and sell everything we owned in our apartment in Paris. And we'd been living in Paris for almost 6 years, so we had accumulated quite a lot of stuff. We had to say goodbye to French friends and family, knowing that we wouldn't see them for another year or so. We got to New Zealand, changed countries, had to set up here, found a house to rent, found a house to buy. Neil started his new job. I changed careers, and then anyway, once the sale of the house went through, suddenly we realized, like, oh my gosh, we have nothing. We had 2 suitcases of clothes to our names. Everything we had to buy from scratch. So it's just been such a huge project setting up our life here. So as you guys can imagine, it's just been go in 2019. Really cool stuff, but whew, so ready for 2020. You know how sometimes people pick a word as a theme for the year? I think my word this year is balance. It's not so much in terms of like, I'm only going to work Monday to Friday, 9 till 5 and then stop. It's not that kind of balance. It's more like having a dose of everything I want a dose of in my week or in my month. So I'm going to go through all the dirty details. I'm actually using a tool that we use sometimes in life coaching, which is called the Wheel of Life. And the Wheel of Life, the exercise that when you do it traditionally is that you assess on a scale of 1 to 10 where you're currently at in all these different dimensions of your life. So it can be health, it can be money, it can be career, it can be romantic relationships, all of that kind of stuff. What I'll do is take you guys through the Wheel of Life, and I've got one big goal for each area. But before we get into all of my 2020 resolutions and goals, if one of your 2020 goals is to learn a language, either start learning one or perfect one, so whether you're beginner or advanced, and you want to learn English or French or German or Spanish or business English and earn up to a 100% refund, then listen up, because I've got an awesome opportunity. So I've partnered up with the wonderful guys and gals over at Lingoda to tell you guys about the language sprint. So it's previously known as the Lingoda Marathon. So if you guys have attempted the marathon before, you can absolutely do the language sprint as well. And it's basically one of the most amazing ways to boost your fluency, like phew, and overcome your fear of speaking. And it all comes down to the way that it's designed. So you can take 30 classes per month, so no more than 1 class per day, but 30 classes per month, every month for 3 months, and get a 100% refund at the end. And that's the super sprint. Or you can do the sprint, which is just 15 classes per month, each month for 3 months. And if you successfully complete that, you'll still get a 50% refund on your tuition fees. And if you guys have been watching this channel for a while, you know that I'm a huge fan of Lingoda. I've used them myself. I have loads of subscribers who've used them, and it wins out because it's just so easy. You can learn anytime, anywhere, your lunch break, after work, weekends. There's classes 24/7. You basically go onto the platform, you select a topic that really excites you and interests you, you sign up for a time that suits you, you join the class. The classes are super small. There's an average of just 3 people per group class. And of course, the professors are native speakers, certified. They know this stuff. So if you're thinking right now, well, that sounds great, Rosie, but how the heck do I join the sprint? So you have until January 27th to sign up, and the sprint itself runs from the 29th of January 2020 and lasts until April 27th, 2020. Now, if you guys saw this video of mine, which was all about the French management style and French bosses, you'll know I mentioned the sprint in there and saying that the doors closed on December 19th. But because the demand was so high, Lingoda are actually giving you more days, which is why you now have until January 27th to sign up. So how it works is that after signing up for the sprint, you pay for the first month up front, and then you're automatically registered to pay for the subsequent months months as they come up. And there's no entry fee this time. However, I do have a voucher code for you guys, which will give you 10 euros off your first month. So just click the link in my description box and use the code LASTCALL19 and you'll get the 10 euros off your first month. Don't forget though, the whole point of this is that even though you've signed up to pay for the 3 months, Lingoda will literally refund your tuition fee in full if you're doing the super sprint, or give you 50% of it if you're doing the sprint, as long as you fulfill the basic terms and conditions. There's no trick or catch there. Basically, you've just got to show up to your class. Guys, taking this Lingoda language sprint can literally change your life. I mean, it's the first 90 days of a new year. I mean, you may use it to get a new job, you may use it to travel, to connect with someone from another culture. There are so many things you can do once you learn a language. So again, click my link down below, have fun with the sprint, and have an awesome start to the new decade. So without further ado, let's jump into my wheel of life and we'll go through all of the goals that I have set for 2020. Alright, so the first segment on the wheel of life is friends and family. And this is definitely something that I have always been a little bit slack on. Like, I'm sort of that person who will check messages when I know I can't reply and then kind of forget to reply and stuff like that. And also just living away from my family, I almost got into this pretty bad habit of just, you know, sending Facebook messages here and there, but I only call them maybe once every few weeks, once a month, that kind of thing. And then on the other side now, I've got friends and family back in France who I need to keep in touch with as well. And I've just noticed that I've just been so head down and busy working on my business, and the weeks honestly just slip away from me. So what I'm doing for this part is putting a 1 hour block in my calendar every week. And in that 1 hour, I have to stop what I'm doing and basically send messages, send texts, arrange phone calls. I send my friends back in France little podcast episodes, so I'll like do voice notes, record myself speaking, and that's really cool. And yeah, I mean, it's just an hour to do that. Also, because I've been working from home, I've noticed that it's quite an antisocial thing. So Niels has new colleagues, he has sports teams with his company, he goes to events and trainings organized by his company, and he's meeting new people all the time, and I'm never meeting new people. So another goal for this part for me is say yes to 1 event per month where I'm going to meet new people. So for example, in January, we're going on a 5-day walk with a group of 20 people and we only know a few of them. So that would be an example of a great event where I'm going to meet new people. All right, so the next one is on health. Whew, this one's a big one. So why is health a big one? Well, you know, it just hasn't been a priority for me lately. It's hard to, I know it's easy to say that, but honestly, with the business that I've been building up, I've had this huge weight on my shoulders, which is, if this doesn't work, how are you going to pay your bills? How are you going to pay your mortgage? I'm not in a position where I can just call up a family member and say, hey, can I have a few thousand? I'm running short this month. Now, what it means is that from arriving in New Zealand from June this year till December, that has been my #1 priority. All I have been focused on is getting this working. I'm a career coach, so I need to have a steady flow of clients coming in, income coming in, and everything. And when you're starting from absolute zero, it's scary. There was so much that goes into starting it up, and you don't earn anything for 2, 3, 4 months, and that's completely normal. So you see your savings account just going down to nothing. How this relates to my health, I'm going to get to, but I mean, the stress on my shoulders, I was working 10 to 12 hour days, 7 days a week. And I was in that, you know, when you're studying and you have a huge project due, or like your master's thesis due or something like that. And basically you feel so guilty if you're doing anything else but working on that. Then you may or may not actually end up working on it anyway, but you just can't even leave the house because you should be. It's almost like that. That's how I felt. Like I had to be working on my business and getting it set up. Otherwise, my dream of being able to work from home and being able to work from France when we go to France, and being able to, yeah, live a life that's a lot more flexible than one where you have to go into an office every single day, I just saw it slipping away from me. And so how this relates to my health is that I haven't been doing any exercise, any sport for 6 months, and I didn't really do a lot before that either, to be completely honest, because we were preparing for the move. There was just, life was so busy and so stressful, and we had so much on that I couldn't even imagine taking 1 hour for myself 3 times a week. So a huge goal for me this year is around my health, and it's around getting back into the habit of exercising, and it doesn't matter what it is, but 3 times per week for 45 minutes I want to be sweating, like not just going for a stroll, not just going for a bike ride, but really heavily working out for 45 minutes 3 times a week. And I know that may not sound like a lot to some of you, but for me it's really about building a habit. So I've signed up to the Couch to 5K app. I don't know if you guys have heard of it, but it trains you to go from 0 to running 5K, and I've got some other things on as well. So I don't have really a hard fixed goal, but I know how I want to feel, and I want to feel more energized, like I have a clearer head, like it's easier to get up in the morning. So yeah, that's basically one of the most important things that I'm going to be bringing back into my lifestyle this year. Now, in terms of money, I've got a really clear goal for that. It is to replace my corporate salary. So what I was earning at L'Oreal last year, basically the equivalent of that, plus pay for my business expenses. All of the expenses related to running my business, all the software programs, video editing software, what's running my website, what's running my emails, what's running the platform where I'm going to eventually host the online courses that I offer. All of that kind of stuff costs money. And I'm also wanting to outsource some video editing as well for my next YouTube channel, which is all about the career coaching stuff. So if I could replace my corporate salary and pay for the business expenses, I'd be a really happy girl. It is quite a big goal because obviously I'm starting from scratch, but given how I've seen Not Even French grow, and I know how if you're consistent and dedicated and you're showing up like every week and adding value, how quickly a really great community can grow, I do have faith for this one. So fingers crossed. And by the way, if you guys want to be some of the very early adopters and early subscribers, if you're the kind of person who takes their career seriously, who's a high achiever, and you want to land amazing opportunities with great companies or start your own side hustle, then you may be interested in my second channel, which is Badass Careers. I'll link it down below. There's nothing on it at the moment, but it's going to come in the next few weeks. So if you want to be the very first subscribers to that channel, I'll leave the link down below and you can subscribe to that if it sounds like something that sounds cool to you. Now, in terms of my career, so my huge focus going into 2020 is going to be Badass Careers, my career coaching business. And I'm going to be starting this YouTube channel that I told you guys about, and it's going to have tips around cover letters, resumes, interview skills, salary negotiation, finding your strengths, finding your purpose, figuring out what you should do because it fits you as a person, it's aligned to your values, your personality, all of that kind of stuff. So there's going to be heaps of cool content on there, basically leveraged from my 10 years in HR, as well as just the fact that I consume every single book, TED Talk, podcast on this topic that you can imagine. So I'm going to be doing 2 videos per week on that, which is huge. So obviously the goal is to hopefully help hundreds of thousands of people in some way with their career, but more specifically, I want to work with 500 people directly. So 100 one-to-one clients who I'm actually helping one-to-one, partnering up with them as their kind of behind the scenes HR career coach, and working with them directly. And then another 400 of them will do the online courses that I'm going to create. I know that not everyone can afford one-to-one coaching, so I'm going to create online courses that people can purchase, and they're self-study courses with videos of me, with workbooks. There'll probably be a private group involved as well that we can work together on, and you can ask questions and all that kind of stuff behind the scenes. So I'm going to be developing those, and I'm hoping for another 400 people to go through those. Now, the next segment is called Home Environment, and the first thing that I could think of for this one is I want to get a cat. Not just any cat, I can see her in mind. It's a little solid grey female cat. I don't know why, but I just have this vision of this particular cat. She's the one I'm looking for. Apparently New Zealand has run out of grey cats. I don't know where they've gone. I've been looking for this cat literally since August. So I've been fostering and looking after little kittens while I wait for her to show up somewhere. And I did actually have a little grey kitten, but it wasn't a right fit in terms of personality, because I'm really looking for a cat that's really affectionate and snuggly, and she really wasn't. Hopefully she'll show up in the next few weeks. Okay, so the next part is around fun and leisure. So when I think about my biggest passion and the thing that brings me the most joy in terms of fun and leisure, it's definitely travel, and that hasn't changed. So my goals for 2020 are to go back to France for at least 1 month and to get to a Pacific island. I've never been to any of the Pacific islands apart from New Zealand, of course, but I'd really love to go to either Samoa, Vanuatu, Fiji, New Caledonia, Rarotonga. It doesn't actually matter which one it is. I would love to experience a Pacific island and the culture and the food, all of that kind of stuff. So that's really on the bucket list for 2020. In terms of personal growth, so this one for me, I am going to be doing a neuroscience coaching certification. So it's basically, I mean, I'm a psychology major, but what we've learnt about the brain has advanced so much. The research around the brain has advanced so incredibly much, even just in the past 10 years. Even though I already have qualifications, it's a coaching certification that's really grounded in neuroscience and everything we know about the brain. So there are all these, I guess, hacks, tips, tricks, the way you can leverage psychology to set and achieve your goals, to create habits, talk about yourself in particular ways when you're pitching yourself. There are things that we can learn from the brain, from psychology, that can help you in your career. Think about all the psychology around negotiation, for example, when negotiating a salary. So that's what I'm going to be learning in 2020, and that's my big investment into myself. It costs quite a lot of money, but I can't wait to have this neuroscience coaching certification. It's really going to take my coaching, I think, to the next level. And when it comes to my significant other, so my big goal is to have no major life milestones this year, because honestly in 2019 we had enough. Changing countries, changing careers, buying a house, again, all good stuff, but whoa, okay, done. 2020 is just about to enjoy the life that we're building over here. So I hope you guys found that interesting. I'd love to know what some of your 2020 goals are down below, and otherwise I'll see you guys next time on the Not Even French channel. A bientôt!